introduce myself. I'm Heather. I completed in 22, and then I graduated in 20. So I was just I kind of forget a lot, and I kind of freeze, so I wrote it down so that way I can share what all I wanted to share with you guys. So, for 14 years, I struggled with alcoholism, but by the grace of God, I have been delivered. Sin in my life started out small, with small choices I made every day or every week. I started drinking to have fun, to fit in, or just any normal reason we use to justify behavior we know are wrong. When you first start to do something that is sinful, it doesn't have a lot of effect on your life. But that sin had gained a little foothold in my life that would grow into a prison that chained me and destroyed me and my family. The acceptance of sin in my life hardened my heart little by little, and the anxiety and depression I had from childhood trauma grew as well, especially accelerated when my husband deployed to Iraq over and over. The feeling of abandonment fed my depression, and I increasingly turned to alcohol to cope with those problems. That was the perfect storm that fueled my growing alcoholism. No one wakes up saying that I want to be an alcoholic. But after years of bad choices, little by little, I looked around and realized I created myself a prison, and I was bound by chains I didn't think I could ever be free from. Drinking was the priority in my life, before my husband, my kids, and anything really. I wanted to be a good wife and a good mother. I had dreamed of that since I was a child. Instead of going to my kids' games, it was more important to stay home and drink. I hated myself for it, but I saw no escape. I was destroying my relationship with my kids and my marriage. In July of 2021, my husband gave me an ultimatum. Go to Teen Challenge, or he was going to divorce me and take my kids. I went not really wanting to go, but I just wanted my husband to stay. 2 weeks into the program, John served me divorce papers. For me, that was my rock bottom. I felt angry, abandoned, betrayed, tricked, and lied to. Little did I know, even in this, God's hand was reaching out to me to protect and draw me back to Him. The day I got served papers, my pastor's wife came down to be with me. Her and Miss Love convinced me to stay in the program. Miss Love said, "These are just papers, and the Bible is the truth." We placed the Bible on top of the divorce papers and prayed that God, because this was just so real. We placed the Bible on top of the divorce papers and prayed that God would save my marriage and restore my family. It wasn't easy. I was at war with myself, and God had a lot to teach me. One of the biggest things I needed to learn was obedience. God had me where I needed to be. 2 months in, I had my first visit with my husband and my kids. It was the first step in our healing process. I did what I had never done before. I apologized. I did it with no excuses. I asked them to forgive me for what I had done to them. They saw a change in me, and they started to see Jesus in me. I was looking healthier. The months went by, and it was so lonely without my family. Several times I wanted to leave. But I knew I needed to finish this program no matter what. During that time, I learned to rely on God when I struggled. I digged into His Word, and I got on my knees and cried out to Him. After 10 months in the program, Miss Love called me into her office. She says you're going to want to sit down for this. John dismissed the divorce papers. God had rewarded me for my obedience. I answered my prayers. I stand here delivered. I have restored my marriage. I've restored my relationships with my kids. And I am free. I found freedom in this place. It's so, so very important to be. Because you will find freedom too. If you just rely and trust in God, He will lead you and guide you throughout the whole year.
Man.
There are hard places. I am